Who will join head coach Dan Quinn to lead the Washington Commanders? That is the $64,000 million trillion question. As the official television station of the team, we're following and looking into all the possibilities.
Yeah, all right. So one name generating a lot of buzz right now is Mike McDaniel. He was let go as head coach of the Miami Dolphins earlier today. And we know there's a personal connection between McDaniel and Commanders head coach Dan Quinn. To get a little more insight on this, we have David Harrison joining us right now, host of the Locked On Commanders podcast. David, thank you for being here with us tonight.
Oh, of course. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so as we mentioned, there's a personal connection between McDaniel and Dan Quinn. What can you tell us about that relationship?
Yeah, I mean, they're about as tight as two guys can get, right? The coaching fraternity is well known, and these guys go to figurative battle together week in, week out. They were both on the staff together when Dan Quinn was the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. And from, Mike McDaniel's point of view, this was a time period where he was dealing with his very public battle against alcoholism. And it was something where, to Mike, it was DQ really offering him the opportunity to continue his NFL career despite his personal problems and working through those things. And Mike very much gives Dan credit for being where he is today because of the grace that he showed him and because of the humanity that showed him, which of course just fits Dan Quinn's personality and his reputation. But Dan also leans into the offensive genius that is Mike McDaniel and how much he loves working with players, quarterbacks especially. So a very, very tight mutual respect, bond, and love that gives you confidence that if this is the hire they end up making, that trust factor is going to be there from day one.
Yeah, I'm smiling as I look at the pictures because I remember when they faced off in Madrid, it was Dan Quinn and Mike McDaniel side to side, and Mike talked so glowingly about that relationship even then. So when we look at his coaching style, because you just talked about that, David, what stands out about how that might be a good fit for what Washington desperately needs right now?
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that when you listen to Dan Quinn and Adam Peters talk about what they want in their coaching staff and their next offensive coordinator, at the end of the season, Mike McDaniel really just checks all the blocks. He's a guy that knows how to draw up explosive offenses. He knows how to work with young quarterbacks, teach them, and guide them onto not just being the best of who they are today, but becoming the best of what they can be tomorrow. But then you also look at what he did with the Miami Dolphins and his track record. He's also a coach that believes in balance. He likes to lean on the run game when it's available to him, help carve out the fourth best rushing attack in the NFL in 2025. And leaned on that very heavily. So we know that he's a guy who's going to get the best out of his quarterback, try to get those explosive plays through the air in the passing game, but he understands the value of controlling the clock, shortening the game, and making sure you don't expose your defense to opportunities, unlike what we saw in 2025.
Yeah, you talked about that quarterback coordinator chemistry there. So how do you think that works with Jaden Daniels? Do you think those two will bond or would bond?
Yeah, I know, the two haven't had the opportunity to work together quite yet, but having been around Jaden, also having been around Coach McDaniel a little bit in my media career, I think the two personalities would gel, but also Mike McDaniel's drive to just understand who Jaden is as a quarterback is going to shine through as well. There's actually a story that goes back to the league meetings last year where Mike McDaniel shared with some reporters that he'd been watching Jaden Daniels since his freshman year at Arizona State, all through his college career to LSU, and then was watching during his rookie season. So Mike McDaniel's not going to come in here ignorant to what Jaden Daniels has been or who he is as a player. It's just going to be about getting those personalities in sync. And like I said, having been around both personalities, Mike a little bit less obviously than Jaden, I think they would be just fine if they were in the same room together.
Yeah, so Mike knowing a little history so that he can hopefully make some history here with Jaden Daniels. We sure would love that. Well, the Jaden Daniels part and the coaching thing and all of that just sort of lining up, all the things. Anyway, David Harrison, host of the Locked On Commanders podcast. Thanks for being here.
Of course. Thank you.